Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Platinum Mastermind call. Actually, the last Platinum Mastermind call of 2017. In this Mastermind call, we're going to be doing something quite special. I promised you a case study of a recent client that I acquired for the JV Introducer service. And it was just an easy client, to be honest with you, for me. It was a quick 5K, and I'll take you through step by step exactly what I did for them. And it takes no time at all. I normally charge between 10 and 15K for this service, but this was a smaller business. And it was just something that I enjoy doing on LinkedIn, and it's very easy to do. I can basically do it in an afternoon or an evening. So it's definitely worth doing if you get an opportunity to do this. So let's get started. I'm going to show you first how this all came about. So, as you know, I do this thing called my JV Introducer service. Now, I don't do it as much as I used to. I've done it for a few larger organizations, and I talk about it a lot in the training. And I also have a JV Introducer agreement that's actually in the file section of the group for you to have a look at. I'm going to upload this one as well, the latest one, and show you how I constructed the agreement for this particular client. So the client approached me again on LinkedIn. And they have created a business program for business owners who want to transition the sale of their business. So they basically are called the Business Transition Academy, and they have a training program. They do a workshop and an online program for business owners who want to either sell out and move on, or pass on the business to family, or sell out to the management team, or basically just sell out overall. So they create a strategy for them using their training, their program step by step, showing them exactly how to do that and how to achieve that. So they contacted me on LinkedIn. They said, we've got this business program for business owners who want to transition the sale of their business. Originally, they asked me if I could connect them with someone at Vistage. So Vistage is one of the largest CEO coaching firms in the world, and they wanted me basically to connect them with a decision maker at Vistage to be able to organize a call or a meeting to discuss a licensing proposal. So they said, is this something that you can do? You're a joint venture guy. Can you create a joint venture for us and get us into this organization? And then we can talk to them about licensing. And I said, look, if you're going to be doing the closing and the talking to them about what you have to offer, I can get you the foot in the door. I can get you into the organization and then pass on the contact to you, or schedule a meeting for you to talk to the decision maker, and then it's up to you how how you close the client. Okay, so my involvement was very minimal on the JV Introducer service. It's just a connection service. We're connecting them with decision makers that they obviously think that they can't get a hold of because they don't know how to, but these are the like the CEOs and the decision makers of these large corporations. Okay, so they actually provided me with the names, and I used LinkedIn to find the decision maker and make contact. So I said, look, give me some names in the organization, like the CEO, the COO, the CMO, who operations, who is basically do you want me to target, and do you want me to actually speak to in regards to scheduling a meeting for you to talk about your licensing your program. Okay. So for this, I charged $5,000 up front with 20% on sales. So any sales they make from from closing deals with the organizations that I connect them with, I take 20% of this on the sales, but I charge $5,000 up front. Now, I normally charge 10 to 15 grand for this service, but they were a small organization, and I did pitch 10 grand originally when we started, but she said, look, 10 grand is, we can't afford 10 grand. So I'd be happy to pay 5,000. Okay, so that's where that figure came from. The figure, she actually said I'd pay 5,000. So I said, okay, look, I'll take it. It's fine. That was a figure put on the table. And for 5 grand, it's a no-brainer. You know, it's still the same amount of time, but normally I charge between 10 and 15 grand for the service, as you know. I've charged more for it, but that's what I've charged them because that was the figure that they had, and it was a no-brainer close. It was just okay. You know, here's my you know, bank details, wire the funds across. Here's an agreement, sign it, and then, you know, obviously wire the funds across, and we'll get started. But they provided me with everything. They're providing all the names, all the contacts for me to reach out to. I gave them a guarantee, and I said that if I can't make one contact for you, okay, if I can't get you into a single organization to have a meeting or schedule a call, I'll refund your money. So that's how basically how it works when I do it. Um, Murray says, questions. Can you explain a little more about what Vistage is? Also, when you say they provided you names, you just connected with the same names. Yes, Vistage is basically the largest, I think, coaching franchise or coaching organization in the world for CEOs. It's a CEO organization, and it's the largest one in the world. So I think she was a member of Vistage, but she could never get up into the decision makers. She struggled, and she, you know, she obviously saw me, I think, a training video or something that I did online about how to connect with decision makers, and she said, look, if you can do it for us, it'd be great. So I think she tried and it didn't work. So, and then she said, look, if you can do it for us, it saves us time, and then I'll pay you for it. I think it's a networking group, Vistage, but they do coaching as well. Coaching is something that they do for their members, and because they have a business transition program, they wanted to license that to Vistage. So that was the original plan. Okay, so I hope that clarifies that. Yeah, so I charged 5 grand because 10 grand is what I pitched, and 5 grand is what she said she would be happy to pay. And I said, that's fine, you know, I'll pay it, so no problem at all. They provided me with all the names. So I said, look, you need to provide me with the organizations that you want me to get into. And again, I said, look, if I can't get you into a single organization and it doesn't work, which is impossible because it always works, I'll give you your retainer feedback. So I got them into 2 organizations so far. Out of the, I think it was 5, they sent me 5 big organizations to talk to, and I got them into 2 out of 5 so far. And I've had a reply from 2 of the others who weren't interested in taking things further. So out of 5 contacts so far, I've had conversations with 4, and I've got them into 2, right? So not a bad hit rate, okay? And so that saves my retainer, so I don't have to give that retainer back. Okay, so that's what I did. It was 5 grand up front, which they paid, and 20% on sales. Now here's what I did, right? So this is, have a look at this. This is what you guys have in the training, and I show you how to do this. This is always my opening script when I'm connecting with decision makers on LinkedIn. Now we identified someone called Taybel Piven, who was a decision maker in Vistage, who was second to the CEO. And I reached out to her to connect with her because she was a number 2 connection. So I said, hi Taybel, I wanted to reach out and connect with you here on LinkedIn as I have a client who is interested in doing business with you. Before I connect you with my client, I wanted to ask if you were open to strategic partnering. So, you know, this is a message that creates intrigue, and they have to reply somehow with something. Most of them reply and say, okay, this sounds interesting. Who is the client? I'd like more information. So basically, they're putting their hands up, right? And they're saying, look, you know, we'd like to move forward on this and have more information. So that's the opening script I always use on LinkedIn. And this was the reply. She comes back and says, first of all, she's now a connection. She connected with me. And she says, hi, Sahel. I would be interested in knowing what you and your client have in mind. Okay, so it always works because it's an intrigue thing. Please send me an email at taybel.piven@vistage.com so we can schedule a call. Right, so that's it. I mean, in two messages, bam, you know, that's it. I've got the call scheduled. So I send a copy of this to my client and say, guess what? I just got you into Vistage, and I've just got you a call scheduled with Vistage. So you need to contact Taybel Piven and schedule a call with her, and this is what they've done. Okay, so I got them into Vistage with this. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, good stuff. It's very easy, very easy. So that is just with just one message and two messages later. Um, we've done it, and I always keep the client informed. Any messages I get back on LinkedIn, I cut and paste it and I send it to the client so they know that I'm actually doing something, right? So they can see that something's being done and they're getting something for their money. So Bija says, did you schedule the call with Tabel or did you have the client schedule the call? I had the client schedule the call. The client emailed Tabel directly, and what I did actually was that I sent the email and I CC'd in my client, and I said to Table in the email that my client will schedule the call with you. Okay, so yes, I sent the email to her because I was the connection, but I introduced her to my client in the email, and my client scheduled the call with her, right? So yeah, brilliant. So I got her into Vistage, okay, which is a very difficult organization to get into. I've tried so many contacts in Vistage, and she was the only one really that got back to me very quickly. Okay, so that is basically how I got them into Vistage. And the great thing is, right, is the client, after that, the client then provided me with more names and organizations to contact via LinkedIn. So after that happened, I got her into Vistage. She goes, wow, this is really good. Okay, so I said, okay, so you need to put together some more organizations and go onto LinkedIn and find the decision makers, or let me know who are the decision makers, and I will contact them and get you into those organizations for a call as well. So using the same opening script, I connected with decision makers on the list and managed to secure more calls and meetings for the client. Okay, this is which is well done. Out of 5, we have 2 calls scheduled so far. 2 have said no, and I've got 1 coming back. So Bijo says the retainer is based on the client and prospect closing a deal. I know the retainer is based on me making at least 1 connection and 1 meeting for them. So I take a retainer up front because I have to do the work, right? So I said, look, I've got to do the groundwork to do an outreach on LinkedIn. So they don't know what I'm doing on LinkedIn. I don't show them my emails that I send. I only show them the replies. The client thinks that I'm doing a lot of stuff on LinkedIn, but I'm not. Okay. So the retainer was for the work, for the outreach. And companies are okay with just a connection. Yes, of course. Yeah, companies are fine with that. I mean, it works out fine. You know what it is? There's a lot to do with my profile because I'm a middleman. I'm unbiased. I'm not a salesperson, right? So I'm acting as a broker or as a consultant on behalf of the organization. So I'm not a salesman. I'm not selling anything. Vanessa says, when they ask who it is or say they're intrigued, how do you respond to ensure that a call gets scheduled? It's very simple. What I say to them is I would like to, before I reveal the details of my client, what I'd like to do is set up a call, or I'd like you to connect you with my client personally. So what is the best contact number for you and email so I can connect you directly with the client? Yep. So I'm not a salesman, right? I'm not selling anything. And then I get the contact details from them, or they say, well, here's my appointment scheduler. I'd love to be connected to your client, or I send them an email and then I connect the client in that email, because that email reinforces that I'm doing the work for my client, and that reinforces that, look, I'm getting the job done because I've just got you into this company. Now I'm saying, let's schedule a call. Okay, so you can do that via email as a follow-up. So I use the same script to connect them with other decision makers with the list that they've given me. Okay. Now the client reused the Vistage proposal. So the proposal that they originally created for Vistage, I said to them, look, reuse the proposal and tailor it for all new connections and introductions that I helped create. So any new introductions that I helped create, send out the same Vistage proposal. Yeah, originally, Murray, I didn't give any details about my client until they asked me who the client is. Then I say, okay, for me to connect you with the client, what I need from you is either a contact number or email address. So then I send out an email, CC my client in, and I make the connection or schedule the call via email. Sometimes you can do it on LinkedIn as a message. Sometimes people will come back to you and say, okay, here's my scheduler. Let's get a call scheduled, and I'd love to talk more about this proposal. But let me show you another thing that I did where it goes beyond that, where you have to expand on the script. Okay, if the person wants more information from you before they give you any details, I'm going to show you that way as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you that method also. Now, the interesting thing here is the Vistage client is still in negotiation stages, but it's worth $250,000, that contract, to my client alone, right? And my 20% on that is 50 grand. So if they close that deal with Vistage, I'll make 50 grand on that, just on that one company, okay, or that one client. So it's pretty lucrative, right? It's pretty lucrative. So here's another one where this is a longer version of trying to get someone to connect with me. Okay, so she targeted the CEO at EOS Worldwide, which his name is Don Tinney. I reached out to Don. I said, "Hi Don, I wanted to reach out and connect with you here on LinkedIn, as I have a client who's interested in doing business with you. Before I connect you with my client, I want to ask if you are open to strategic partnering." Okay, so the same opening script. Now, this took a bit longer because he connected with me, but he didn't reply. So I thought, okay, I've got to use a second step, right? So then I said, look, hi Don, thank you for accepting my request. I really appreciate that. Now I'm telling him about my client. My client has created a program for business owners to help them exit their business easily and profitably. I'm looking to reach out to someone at EOS Worldwide you can talk to regarding a licensing deal. Would you be the right person to discuss a strategic partnership with? Okay, so he didn't get back to me. I think I gave him a week. I gave him actually I gave him 10 days, and he didn't get back to me in those 10 days. So I sent this out. Now you can also send this out if someone says to you, I want to know more about the proposal, or I want to know more about the client. But when someone says that to me, I said, well, look, if you want to know more about the client before I connect to you personally, what's the best email address for you or the best contact number? Okay, that's what I try and get out of them. But if that doesn't work, then this is the follow-up script you need to send. So I sent this to him as a follow-up, and then he gets back to me and says, no, you would need to talk with Kelly Knight. Please note that we have multiple regular invitations to engage in strategic partnerships. We say no to 99.9% because we believe in the power and priority of focus. So I said, okay, that's fine. What is the best email for Kelly? And he's given me her email, knight@eosworldwide.com. Okay. Now, this again, I took a screenshot and sent it to the client and said, look, I got you in to talk to EOS Worldwide. I've actually just got a message from the CEO. He's forwarded me a contact for Kelly Knight. That's the person we need to talk to. I'm now going to reach out to Kelly Knight on your behalf. Okay. Bija says, what frequency, how long do you leave between first and second emails? I heard 10 days. Yes, always 10 days. I give them 10 days because they may be away on holiday or they may be away on business. So I give them 10 days. 7 working days plus 3 days on top. So I always give a max of 10 days. So now he's given me the contact for Kelly Knight. I sent Kelly Knight an email to schedule a call, and I CC'd my client in there. And Kelly Knight got back to me and to Jane, who is my client, and said, and she says, thanks, Jane. Let's do January the 10th at 12 noon ET. Will you be sending a calendar invite? So I got another call scheduled for my client Jane with Kelly Knight at EOS Worldwide. Yeah. Okay. Are you guys getting that? So can you see how easy it is, step by step, to use the script? Now the thing is, right, guys, you should just go out and test this script on LinkedIn because it's unbelievably how it works is just amazing. And I've been using this for years, the same script. I've never changed it. I've always used the same script, and it always gets me people. It always gets people coming back to me, right? So it's amazing. So, I always say to people, look, I can broker deals for you, or I can just go into LinkedIn and I can get you meetings scheduled or calls scheduled with literally any decision maker in any corporation on LinkedIn. You just tell me who you want to be connected with, who you want me to set up a call with, and I'll do it. But this is what it's going to cost you. Okay. Murray says the fact that your profile is JV, and it is, it's a lot to do with my profile because we are middlemen. We are not, we're not salespeople. That's why they don't find us threatening. When we reach out to them like this, it's quite unique, and they're like, wow, this is interesting. So Angie says the script books me about 25 calls per week when I turn on the tap. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's crazy. The amount of calls you can get with these scripts. It's crazy. Bija says, yes, I'm using a premium version of LinkedIn to deliver messages because I have InMail. See, InMail is good, right? But I don't use InMail because what I do is I use the connection email. So you don't have to have the premium version for this. InMail is good, but people send things via InMail because they can't get hold of people, right? And most people who send emails are salespeople. So InMails, I've tested InMails, and I've tested a message via a connection request. The message via a connection request is the one that works because when you say to them, I have a client who's interested in doing business with you, they will connect with you straight away. And if someone connects with you straight away, you know for a fact that they want to talk to you, right? Why would they connect with you if they didn't want anything to do with you, right? So that is the barometer. That is the measure of what shows you that this thing actually works. Okay, so that is basically 2 calls out of 5 and 4 connections out of 5. We've got 1 left. That should be coming back to us, but that's it, guys. I mean, that is how you literally do the JV introducer script. So I hope you guys found that useful. And you know what, guys, I appreciate your comments, but here's the thing, right? Alethea is on Vanessa's link. That's funny. Okay, so here's the thing, guys, right? Comments are great, and saying that I rock and stuff is good, but that doesn't get you anywhere because it just makes my head bigger. No, I'm joking. No, it doesn't get you anywhere because I actually go out and do this shit, okay, all the time, and this is what you should be doing as well. This one thing that I've shown you today, right, can make you millions. I mean, literally, if you hone it down and you create a proper service from it and you do a reach out to people and say, look, I can connect you with decision makers on LinkedIn and also set up calls for you. If you have something to sell, you can close the sale. You have a good closing rate. All I will require is a small retainer up front to do the outreach because I have a team that does it. They don't need to know that it's you. And I want 20% of the sale, right? And this is peanuts. I mean, not peanuts. This is in time spent. It's nothing. I would just do a couple of emails, messages on a Monday, Tuesday, and then just sit back and then don't do anything again for another week. It's crazy. Vanessa says, question for LinkedIn regular profile. How again do you send a connection request if they are not a second or third connection? That's a good question. How did I do that? So you can either go through someone else. If it's a second connection, then I think you can, but not a third. Third would require you to do an InMail, and if it is a third connection, then leave it. To be honest with you, find someone who is a second and a first. Murray says you can send second degree requests. Yes, that's correct. Second you can, third you can't. But look, if it's a third connection, you either find someone else that can get you connected, or just leave it. Don't bother with it because there's plenty of more people in the organization who are the first level. And plus, someone in the organization will tell you who the decision maker is, and if they can connect you, that's even better. Oh, interesting. So if you have the advanced version, you can send third level. Okay, I didn't know that. I need to check that. Vanessa says, how did you find clients to want you to do the connecting in the first place? Good question. When I talk to clients about what they want, I do that in the fact find. So or I'll target specific organizations. Now, software companies, right, especially SaaS, software as a service, they would love this because I've worked with a couple of software-based organizations who have big packages like 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand, and they they need to get into corporations and talk to decision makers. So if you can do that and get them into the organizations, let them talk to the decision makers, and any sales they close, you get a percentage. But obviously, just ask for a small retainer up front, because just say that you have a small team and that's how you do the outreach on LinkedIn. Okay, so you're basically saving them time and you're making the connections without them having to be salesy, and then they can talk to the client on the phone and they can pitch whatever they want. I hope that helps. But this is for anyone who wants to sell into corporations or into larger organizations, right, that are based on LinkedIn. So anyone that wants to get into bigger companies to pitch whatever they have, this is the service that you would recommend for them. But that's how to invite my current clients to hire me to do this for them. It's a fact find. Find out if they want to get into if they already have corporate clients, right? Or if they're already working with corporations, then they will provide you with a list of similar organizations that they want to get into, right? If they can provide you with the list, you just go out onto LinkedIn and do it. Most of the times when I'm working with clients, right, I'm a bit cheeky, okay? I get them to give me the list because I could do it. And in my agreement, and I'm going to upload the agreement tomorrow when I upload the recordings. In my agreement, it says really that I should be going out and finding it. But what I do is I always state that, look, you guys know the market better than me. You know the decision makers. You know the organizations that you want to be working with. Create the list for me, and I'll go out and I'll actually get you into these organizations. Video, yeah, it probably could. I think it could. I think, yeah, it could actually, yeah. And this could work for you, Alethea, as well, with Greg and Amanda, because they have a program that they're looking for licensing partners, and they want to get into a much bigger market. Then yes, I would say this approach would work. You know, if they can brainstorm organizations that they'd like to partner with to license their programs, you could definitely do that for them. Oh, Lithia here. We have a sales training company that we plan to do this for. Any ideas what companies to approach for this? They target top level salespeople from companies like Salesforce, SAP, etc. Any companies you know of that pay to train their sales staff? It depends what you're selling. If you're selling them sales training, then it's going to be the sales director, right? Sales director of organizations. Literally any organization, really. Any organization, if they're selling sales training, then it's the sales director or the HR director that you need to be talking to in organizations. And I would offer them a free trial. That's how you'd really get your foot in the door. You would connect them with your client, and the client would basically not try and pitch them hard, probably offer them a free trial that they can try out or something like that. I mean, that would really help. When I've dealt with corporations, when I used to do software training, we used to offer them a free trial, like a 30-day trial of all our training for all their users. And then basically once they get started, they're hooked. So they'll want to continue, and then they just negotiate with us price wise for each user. Yeah, hope that helps. Yeah, it's good then. It's 25K per person. Think about the turnover of the organization then that it's aimed at. I mean, 25K per person sounds like it's the top level salespeople. It would be I mean, 25K per person. Yeah, you got to look at the kind of corporation that will pay that, and you're then talking in the couple of 100 million. Yes, I mean they should know the company that you're working with. They should be able to create or brainstorm a list for you of the targeted companies that they'd like to get into that they're not into right now. If you can do that, then it just makes your job easier, really, to be honest with you. Okay, guys, let me know if you've got any more questions for me, and I really hope you found the training interesting. And this is a good one because this is a recent case study. I think I signed him up in October, or I think it was November. But I'm also gonna upload the the actual agreement that we signed, so you can have a look at the layout for that. I'll get that uploaded into the group tomorrow. All right, guys, let me know if you've got any more questions for me. Right, Alethea says it would be a new model for them as they sell the 25K training to the salespeople, not to organizations. Then that would be direct to consumer, really, isn't it? It's not B2B, it's going to be B2C, that because the salesperson is the consumer. So then you won't be targeting corporations for that. What they should do, if they're really clever, is create a low price model with a licensing model. So if they want to get into a larger organization that has, let's say, 200 salespeople, they could make much more than that. So they really need to adjust the offering for a corporation, who wants training for their salespeople. I think that's what you'd probably be looking at there. Yeah, they need to change their sales pitch. Exactly what I just said. Yeah, because you can look, you can find top level salespeople on LinkedIn, but that's a harder pill to swallow, because now you're doing the basic high ticket thing to individuals, right? Which is very difficult, because salespeople are the most hardest people to sell to, because they think they know everything. Um, Yeah, it depends. I mean, what they need really is an avatar. Then they need to know who their current customers and clients are, and then they need to do a broad match and target similar customers then on LinkedIn if they want to do that. It's good. Sounds good. Sounds like they're doing really well. Yeah, just do that. I mean, have a look at different scenarios, and I would split test. I would do a split, but for the corporations, yeah, they've got to change their business model for that. You know. But the thing is, they'll only know by talking to the corporations in terms of what they want, and if they could put together a bespoke package for them, then yes, that could definitely work. All right, guys, great call today. Thanks for showing up, and if you're listening to the recordings, I hope you guys take action, and also just have a look in the group and look out for the JV Introducer case study agreement. That will be in the group also, so you can have a look. And guys, I think next time we speak now will be in the new year. So have a great Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and all that. And take it easy, put your feet up, and just enjoy the holidays with either yourselves or your families. And spend a bit of time over the holidays also to create a plan for yourself for 2018. Okay, in terms of which direction you want to go in. And if any of you guys need to get on a call with me in the new year and have a catch-up call, it'd be great to catch up. And if you need direction, give me a shout. I'm always here for you guys. And like I say, wherever you are in the world, have a great one, and I'll speak to you guys in 2018. So take care, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye.